Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Try that.
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Try that.
Yeah, I can hear it now. See?
Scale it down a little bit now. All right.
Hello? Okay, I'm hearing it in there, so we should be good.
All right. This one's not too loud.
Yeah, sorry for the, I'm most going nuts in the background. He's getting to that age.
He went to the city for the first time today.
Yeah, we had a long day already. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Woke Wednesdays, where we've got a full lineup for you guys again today. So, we have good news that we got. Wait. It's not though.
Yeah,
okay.
No, this is supposed to be on me because it's
Okay.
attached to this. So
okay, I gotcha. Yep. We have a vehicle now. Yeah, here he is. Are you gonna do it now?
He wants to be on camera.
He does. He's looking at pushing.
Mr. Drooled.
Oh,
he just drooled. Yeah.
Oh. All right.
All right, so we have a vehicle now. It's a 96 Toyota Camry.
It's the first car we've had here since 2017.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, it works pretty well. It just we don't have air conditioning at the moment and a window. It's all electric windows, and one of the windows, if we roll it down, we won't be able to get back up. So
I'll be doing it for the first time today.
Yeah.
And then Guru here got to drive it all on our dirt roads and then our private roads that we have around here. So he had fun. He did really well. He got up to 55 miles an hour.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I was always really afraid to go faster with that.
I know, and he's already starting that way.
Yeah, I know. I go fast. I just speed.
He hit a corner a little fast and kind of skid a little bit, but that's it. He did really well.
Instead of I show speed, he's I display fast.
I display fast.
Yeah, I display fast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I
display fast.
Oh, also, we got new ring light.
Yes, we got a new ring light. So we got everything back up and working.
See this?
Yep.
This is how we make our money. I don't think we make any money. But, oh my god. He's just super excited. He's super excited for tonight's live.
Yep, he is. Because we got a good lineup. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and we're going to get into this one. It's a pretty good one. We got, we haven't done clownfish in a couple of weeks, so we're going to start with that. I have a new one. We haven't done her before. No, we did last week. Liberty Hangout.
Yeah, that's right.
We did one last week of hers, but she's got another one, and it's a little longer than what we were trying to get in here. But
I mean, if it gets too boring, we can just solve it and move on.
Yeah, we can for sure.
Next week.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into this. Let's have some fun.
He's just watching Dad, like, oh my god.
Mute.
Are you on? Tell me which side are you on? Which side are you on? We'll fight against George. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk.
Then sit down.
Let go of me.
You're going to go in cuffs if you don't sit down.
Sit down. Seriously?
If you don't sit down, we'll put you in cuffs. Yeah.
Seriously? Let go of me.
Turn around for you. Sit down.
I'm not sitting down.
Well, then you're about to go in cuffs.
No, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sir?
Yep. Where's your bedroom?
No, I'm not interested in telling anybody right now. I just woke up from sleep.
What's your first name?
I gotta go out any name, sir. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we're gonna go in cuffs and we're gonna walk downstairs and I'll find out who you are later.
Okay, no thank you, sir.
Say what?
I said, okay, no thank you, sir. I had the skateboarding and I fell asleep. I apologize.
Okay. You're not free to go. Stop.
Please don't touch me.
Go sit back over there.
Please don't touch me.
Go sit back over there.
Seriously?
You're not free to go.
You're not free to touch me.
Yes, I am.
Am I being
Go-
detained?
Yes, you are
For
detained.
what?
You are detained.
For what?
For an investigation. Go sit down.
What type of investigation?
I trespass.
Can you grab your shoe?
Ow. Why are you doing that?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you call yourself an ally to trans people and you have a real live trans person in your life, why are you inviting someone who you know is super overtly transphobic to the same gathering that you're inviting your trans friend or relative to?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now with this, I mean, it's pretty simple here. It's like, well, why are you inviting somebody a transphobic when you invited a trans? Well, because normal people don't go off of the likes and unlikes of what people are. If you're a friend, you're gonna be invited and you can come.
And you can deal with it yourself. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not up to you. It's hard to like play referee or walk on eggshells for one party over the other.
Yeah,
And
you
that's again it's saying you got to favor the trans person or the whatever.
exactly.
You know, that's you don't do that. You know.
You don't, and that's just it. You know, you're there. You want your friends there, so you're invited both. Deal with it. Be a grown up for once.
Yeah, it's like I've been to many gatherings where I was like not on the same. I was just completely against what other people believed in, you know. But I went for the sake of my friend. I mean, hell, I was a pagan, and I went to so many Christian events.
Yes.
And the things that they try to single me out on, and things that they said made me so uncomfortable. But I just went, you know, and I just put aside my own thing for a little while for her sake, and did what was required of me, and then I went home, and then I complained.
Yep. Exactly.
You know, but it's like
you can definitely complain later.
Yeah,
it's not a problem.
I don't do it there. I don't make a big scene of it, and it's like it's like I want to give them more of a reason to say, "Oh, there's a crazy pagan," you know. So it's like
no, they got enough of a reason for that one.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like the same thing. I would imagine that if I was like trans, they'd be like, "Oh, but yep, see, there she goes with her trans stuff," you know, and then it's just gonna cause a bunch of problems.
Yes.
It's like just enjoy yourself at this event and move on and complain later.
Exactly.
You know,
and it's like the trans people cannot just be people. They cannot be like people living among people.
That was the whole point before.
Yeah, it's like
to be passing
to the people don't know, and they include you as what gender you want to be.
And you can just live life.
Exactly.
Like everybody else, but now it's like, now they gotta be special. They have to be outed.
Where did we see the one where the people were being outed at some like bathhouse or something? Was that Mediocre? Remember? And they I'm trying to remember how it went, but they were in a naked bathhouse.
Okay, This was Thai, I believe.
Thai, yes.
Rivera.
Okay.
So what was going on was this was even in San Francisco, which was the mecca of LGBT pride and all that. Right? And it was a spa, and they have a naked room where you can be naked and like have basically yes, exactly a bathhouse.
Yeah.
Without the orgies, I think. But this person was like demanding to be in the space. They were like they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to be separated. It's like, well, I identifies that I should be able to be there. And it's like, they're actually like, well, like, you've never seen a penis before. And it's like what woman hasn't? And it's like, there's plenty of modest women still that haven't wanted to.
Yeah.
It's like, you go to an all women's thing to get away from that, And
Exactly.
it's just jarring. Like, dude, no. And it's like, but they were trying to force themselves in on that.
They were, yes.
And then there was the lady that started a gym who originally was supposed to have like a trans inclusive gym. And then she decided to make it not so. She said, no, real women, biological women only. And I think that was in Australia.
I think so.
And the trans community had a big fit about that. And so they're like, okay, well, what if we just have like one trans inclusive day? Like, no, we should be able to come anytime.
I know. Yeah,
You
they
know.
really did throw a fit over that one.
Yeah, so both of those things, yeah, it was like just trying to force themselves into these spaces. And one of those people for the bathhouse was, in fact, a registered sex offender.
Yes, he was. Yes, exactly.
You know, trying to parade as a trans woman, and they were, in fact, on the sex offenders list.
So it's like other women are not gonna want that there when it's like, okay, yeah, so that you got something,
Right.
and
Now
you can
you're all over all of our stuff.
exactly.
Exactly.
Sancho's here.
Hello,
Hey, Sancho. Hey, thanks for sending me those videos. I will check them out the first chance that I can, and try to get it in there if you want to go over on here. We can see about doing that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm always down to talk about the weird conspiracy theories and stuff that's going on right now. Really? What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, let us know, man. It sounds interesting.
All right. You can type and we'll see this as soon as we get to the next little break thing. We're going to get on with the video.
Don't do that. Don't intentionally put your trans friend or relative in a space where they will be made to feel uncomfortable or possibly even unsafe around someone who you know to be transphobic. And I hope that that person who is transphobic that's in your life, you are having some serious conversations with about that issue. Happy holidays.
No arguing it. Towson University's debate team wins, claiming an historic win. They are the first all-Black women's team to win the Cross-Examination Debate Association's national championship. This morning, we have two of the team members here. We have Amina Ruffin and Corey Johnson, both here to talk about the major victory. Ladies, way to go. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You've made so many people proud in this area. Now we want to pick your brain a little bit as we admire your huge trophy, by the way. That's ridiculous. But I'm going to ask you first. We'll start with you, Amina. What was the topic, first of all?
The topic was restricting presidential war powers authority.
They say the nigga's always already queer. That's exactly the point. It means that the impact is not, that is an impact turn to the that it is a case turn to the affirmative, because we are saying that queer bodies are not able to survive. That it necessarily means that the body of the nigga is not able to survive.
We got the topic in about July, and we started doing our research then.
That when the nigga sees these pains and suffering, that he can only envision himself, that he does not see another nigga that he can feel sympathy for or embrace, but rather that otherness gets obliterated.
We've been supplementing our research throughout the season.
Man's object, disfigured, lynching, trauma, enough. The insight, the trauma representation of actions to the Black child, devouring and identifying with the stories and images the white culture brought up to think and act subjectively like a white man, the Black man.
So where do you go from there? You know, when you start preparing for a national competition, once you know the topic, what's next?
Well, you do a lot of research.
So the way.
The reason I stopped you today is because your tag, your license plate has been expired since 2013. When I run it, it shows to have been got suspended in 2014. That's the reason for the stop.
My question was, what's your emergency? Do you have an emergency? Is there a articulable cause for concern? Why did you pull me over if there's no emergency?
That's why. It's your suspended license plate.
So you don't have an emergency? I would love to help you if you have an emergency.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I would love to help you if you have an emergency, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It's a traffic stop. It's not an emergency. Do you have a driver's license with you?
Well, are you making any assumptions or presumptions here today?
I can't hear you still.
Are you making any assumptions or presumptions here today?
Ma'am, I just need to see your driver's license.
Well, you're under the assumption that I drive.
Am I what?
You're under the assumption that I drive.
Okay. Do you have a driver's
What's your
license?
articulable reason for stopping me?
Okay. Do you have a driver's license with you today or an ID? Any form of identification?
I don't drive, I travel, sir.
Okay. Oh my goodness here. For one, you are at the steering wheel. You are literally sitting in front of it when he obviously pulled you over from driving. And you want to say, are you assuming that I'm driving?
Yeah.
Well, actually, not even assuming. You physically saw it.
Exactly. And it's like, even if you're just like, I was always told like you get in trouble, at least here in California, like when I was like 15 years old or whatever, if I went and started at my mom's vehicle, and if a cop wanted to like stop, they would assume that I was under the operation of that vehicle. So I was always told to be really careful.
Yeah.
Like when we were at the hospital and stuff before we came home, not to be sitting there behind the wheel for too long because they would assume that I was operating the vehicle and I could get in trouble for that.
Of course. I mean, that's just.
You're behind the wheel.
Yes.
So even if you're drunk and you just happen to hang out behind the wheel of the vehicle to try and sober up, and you're not going anywhere, you can still get in trouble.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's the thing that people do not understand.
And she was physically driving.
Yeah, she was physically driving. You know that he saw her. I mean.
Was anybody else in the car?
I can't tell. It's just like a view of like from the dash, like her and the cop. So let's see where this one goes, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, you?
I don't drive, I travel.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license or
I don't drive. So do I have to show you any kind of driver's license? I have you on camera saying that I by law have to show you a driver's license.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
That's kind of inaccurate. Can you call your supervisor? And are you familiar? And are you familiar?
You won't vote for someone who persecutes Christians, but you'll vote for someone that called for a complete total shutdown of Muslims entering the country? Got it.
I was just driving and I had to stop my car and park to show you this. Look at what I found. Literally transgender house, right here. Red, white, and blue, and they're all saturated. Girl, this is where we're gonna live.
Oh, you are a hot slut who prioritizes their healing and wellness no matter what anyone says. You are going to do great this week.
People keep telling me that I'm a fake woman because I'm transgender. Bro, look at these brownies that I made. I spent all day in the kitchen today waiting for my partner to get home so I could present them with a tray of brownies. You think that I'm a fake woman? This is as womanly as it gets.
So I love the thing that this guy's pointing out, that you have to be a woman to make brownies. Now, I make brownies all the time, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Both you and your dad have always made fantastic desserts and stuff. And my stepfather, who was as manly as it could be, used to make brownies and stuff and peanut brittle.
Yeah.
It does not define womanhood.
No, it does not at all.
It means that you're a good baker. You know?
I know.
What?
Sancho, dude, these people are so pointlessly entitled. My analogy about them is spoiled cartoon characters and monarchs. Yes, I agree.
I sit down when I pee, I wear dresses, and I love the colors purple and pink. And you think that I'm a man? I sleep with stuffed animals. Of course I'm a woman. Only girls are allowed to do that. Oh no, I obsess every day about what outfit I'm gonna wear. I'm so girly. There's so many clothes in my closet. Look how full my closet is. I just be shopping and being bisexual and I eat hot chips and I lie all the time. I'm everything that a woman is, with zero exceptions in this world. Obviously, I'm a real woman, even though I'm transgender, because I love the kitchen and I love men and I love shopping for clothes and being on my phone. Gosh, I love being on my phone.
The left would be doing so much better if we made ourselves the place where people can just come and be and let their guard down instead of giving hall monitor, weird, angry, nerd energy, which is what we give right now. And it's what we've been giving for years. And it's alienating and it's weird and it's confusing. And we need to stop, because that's not the vibe that people want to be around. That's not the vibe that I want to be around. Okay? Like, having all the right ideas and saying all the right words needs to not be a prerequisite for belonging. And it just is right now, in a really counterproductive way. We just need to fucking get over it. People are never going to all think the same right thoughts. And that's actually fine. We are capable of connecting with one another as human beings without even knowing a lot of the time the specifics, the minutia of what is in one another's heads. And so I just think we need to shift the focus, man, because we're not doing so hot, if you haven't noticed.
Trump's been president for about a month now. Do you think that he's making America great or worse?
Terrible.
Terrible. And he's done a lot of things in the last month. Is there anything in particular that you can say, okay, this is making America worse?
I feel like everything in office that he's done, I don't think he's done anything beneficial. It's taking away the funding for literally everything. People that live off, survive off benefits from welfare, taking away those benefits.
Can I ask you, has he done any of that, like taking benefits away from like SNAP, for example, or Medicare or Medicaid?
He put a pause on it.
On Medicaid and Social Security services and SNAP?
He put on the pause for the SNAP benefits. It was other benefits as well. I don't remember the whole list.
In reality, the SNAP program still exists. There's no federal freeze right now on any federal programs that are necessary for Americans. There's a freeze on foreign aid, specifically by an organization called USAID, that, since $2.2 million of your taxpayer money to Colombia to subsidize drag queen shows. Do you think that's good for your friend or for yourself to do that kind of stuff? No, right? Would you rather that 2.2 million be invested in American organizations that can benefit you and your friends?
Yes.
That's actually what is happening right now. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now that SNAP and all these various American necessary programs have been cut, but that hasn't happened whatsoever.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, so the closest thing that I've heard about that actually happening was, I think it was the mid-state somewhere, and they were getting rid of like Section 8 or something, and cutting people back from getting the welfare benefits if they were like able-bodied with no children.
Yes.
Families and stuff are still eligible. There has been no pause out here in California, at least.
No.
But every single left-leaning Democratic person that I know of is just freaking the F out that their benefits are going to be cut.
It does. So Social Security a lot. I hear so many people, and it's like necessary programs like that will not be cut. They have found enough BS things to cut throughout the organizations that, Social Security, when I fact check stuff, is going to be raised.
Yeah, I imagine that most of these places will now have much more money to use for
Yes.
these things because, come on, they were getting like monkeys drunk to test things, and they were spinning kittens to test motion sickness, and testing the dexterity of balls in different freaking like weight environments.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what they were doing.
Really stupid things, and some of that we suspect probably goes to secret government programs, but it's like
for the UFOs and stuff like that, because they can't just say, well, this is where it needs to go, so they have to create these things.
At least make something up that's like
reasonable.
Reasonable. It's like, come on, dude.
No kidding.
But yeah, everybody out here, every Democratic person is just freaking out that shit's gonna get cut, and they're saying, well, I'm so scared, and you should be scared too, and I'm like, oh hell no.
Maybe the government started this woke ideology just to cover up the aliens.
Maybe.
And then they got carried away with it and got it way too big.
Like, now we gotta pull it back because some of these people, I swear to God, they're not human.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. Every place there is a lot of misinformation regarding that.
There's a lot. Yeah, see, from what I have seen, Trump and Elon both have been doing a great job at helping our economy. Under Biden's administration, we had two wars raging. The Israel and Hamas war, and then you had the Russian and the Ukraine. Now, both of those right now, I'm not sure if that's exactly at this moment, but I know within a short amount of time from now, both are going to be on a ceasefire deal. hopefully going to end it so that they're not fighting anymore.
I mean, at the very least, they're talking about it, where it wasn't
Yeah.
being talked about at all before. It wasn't being talked about at all.
No, it wasn't.
You know, and like I said before, the Democratic Party likes to kind of pull on your heartstrings and make you feel bad for the people, like on the on the level of
Yes.
humanitarian efforts. They really like to pull at your heartstrings that way. But it's like, in order to make it better for everybody, you have to deal with the governments.
Exactly, you do.
And every Republican president that I've ever known has gotten right to brass tacks when it comes to dealing with other government leaders. I mean, from George Bush to this one was Trump. Like they get down to it. They talk with these world leaders, and it gets done, and it's inevitably better for every other citizen.
I mean, before we had Biden, is that a black guy?
Oh my god, it's so weird. And wandering out into the Amazon forest, it's like Boy just sits down his mic. Is like,
Yep.
I go now to die, because it's like you could tell, like you knew. Like,
Exactly.
My time has come, just like an animal.
Yep.
It's elder abuse.
Well, it is. That was pure elder abuse as far as the government went at that point
Like they were just,
for Biden.
Anything that he did good over the years has been
It's going to be completely turned around now because of that.
Yeah, it's been all shadowed by this past couple of years where his mental health just completely deteriorated.
Yeah, it for sure will.
And it's like, that's just not right.
No.
Because as far as I know, he did a few good things in his,
Yeah.
Political career and everything.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I mean, most do.
And now nobody's gonna know.
Exactly,
Like,
they're not.
Like it's just, there's the demented guy. Oh, God, that's so cruel.
Okay, Sancho. He said, "Are you reading this stuff too or not?"
No.
Okay. Sancho said, "Hey guys, to add light to the situation, there is a rooster that chills outside my graveyard, and it's funny because there are not really supposed to be farm animals here.
Oh, that's funny.
He's like a guardian animal to you,
Exactly.
just watching over you."
When the Hamas war broke out over there, we were watching.
Agenda free.
No, it was a security camera feed. Remember?
Yeah, he had one that was.
I wasn't watching that one.
Okay.
It was some guy that.
But yeah,
just
the
had it
rooster.
set up. Yeah, and they named the rooster Steve because he was like the only thing that was making noise day in and day out to like kind of like let everybody know that life was still going on. Everything else was quiet until there was bombs and gunshots and stuff.
Yep.
And then you had the rooster. And then people kept like checking in, 3 o'clock in the morning. Is Steve still alive? Oh, right, good. And they even made like stickers for him and stuff.
Merch.
Yeah.
Love the chicken so much I had freaking merch out of it.
I know, that was so
T-shirts.
crazy.
He said, "Since I'm a ghoul and I have 2 hellhounds, we all hear the rooster crow outside. We can't eat it because it hides and it's fast." See? It knows.
Yeah, those are good spirit animals to have, and he'll let you know when there's danger,
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah, we have one, our neighbors have one right now.
Oh, God, yeah.
It literally makes noise from like
24/7.
in the morning until the sun comes up, and then it starts again when the sun goes down. It's so fucking backwards.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
And I tell you what, when I start living out in the tent in our yard in the summertime, like I like to do, if that thing's still making noise, it's not gonna
We're gonna eat it.
Exactly.
All right.
You know, someone I really love and very close to told me that he's a Trump supporter. I was really shocked, of course, and I asked him why. And he said it's because it's better for the economy. You know what? I just thought to myself, as money becomes so important that human rights and building a world where everyone has equal rights is just not important anymore? Is this the state of the human race? Have we prioritized capitalism and buying things so much that we don't care about actual human beings? What about women? What about trans people? What about queer people? What about racial minorities? What about the less privileged? Why are we all aspiring for more money? What, to buy more things we don't need? What about our humanity? I just don't get it. I really don't. Respectfully, I really don't understand.
How does someone know?
This is interesting. Oh, do you have comments?
All right, let's see. He said, "Well, that's very ironic. Is that both my hellhounds, that are brother and sister, they actually take care of a cat, and she is pregnant."
Oh, I love that. I know coexisting
Yes.
interspecies communication. It's the coolest thing to watch ever.
It really is, yeah. And animals know. I mean, people don't give animals enough credit. That's for sure.
Very intuitive.
Yes.
Like I wouldn't be able to live out here without having that partnership with them.
I know. Yeah, you were gonna say?
I got this thing on my Facebook, and it's from one of the people that I didn't really realize was a left-leaning person, but he posted this just now. Massive purge of the Pentagon, including content on Holocaust remembrance, sexual assault, and suicide prevention. He said, "No, really, the Nazi fucks some of you elected are getting rid of references. Some of you elect references to 8 million people being murdered. Congratulations, you fucking idiots." So this is how they treat their fellow person.
Oh, I know.
I mean, half of the Valley voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And this is how they're going to treat people that they've known their entire life, saying stuff like that.
Exactly.
And they said a massive purge of the Pentagon. What does that mean? I mean, so are they just taking it elsewhere?
It could be, yeah.
Every piece of media that's ever been, made goes to that underground shelter anyway. There's a copy of it in that underground shelter so that, nothing can happen to it. So
Exactly, so it's saved.
all of that information is still saved. It's still somewhere.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
so I didn't even know the Pentagon had that stuff. I just thought it was a government building.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, remember we saw the thing about this, about the armed robber, armed guy that was in front of the CIA building earlier too.
It says Cat Reset. Hold on, I'll look into that. You guys see here. It said they're also removing every reference and achievement of any black soldiers and women, and they threw such a pissy fit with Confederate monuments were removed and relocated. Talk about erasing history. Today it was Jackie Robinson. Okay, so Jackie Robinson. Oh, Army career. Incompetent fuckers. Well, where did it go though? All right, I'll have to do some digging real quick. So we can move on into the next one, but I'm going to find out about the CIA and...
Yeah, because we got a good set for the next one. So we'll get on to that. Start to...
Oh, they're a woman. If they're confused, how do you know you're a woman?
Trans people don't tend to be confused. They tend to be pretty confident.
They are not confused?
They confuse conservatives. They aren't confused themselves. There's a difference there.
So you preferred your pronouns to be
they and them.
They, them. Okay.
So, do you need me to explain how to use that?
Nope, because I'm not going to. What do you care about?
So I'm like Shiwa, the lady that you just interviewed.
Who?
The lady that you just interviewed. I'm non-binary. My name's Kat. So instead of being directly trans male to female or female to male, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Just
so would you say you were born female?
Yes, I was born.
Okay, so you're in the middle. What does that mean?
So non-binary is, yes, I have my birth gender. I do not deny my birth gender. I'm not actively trying to transition to male. So I'm not taking steps. Like I cut my hair. That was just a personal thing.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I may eventually, if and when it's safe, to go on hormones, but that's to get like a deeper voice, just a bit of a deeper voice. But I'm not actively trying to pass as a male in male society. I'm not trying to go to the male's restrooms.
Okay.
I'm not male clothes, yes, but like they're comfortable.
When did you decide that you were more of ambiguous or what? So I'm going to ask you that question first. What age were you when you decided I'm not so comfortable being purely a woman? I kind of want to be in the middle.
So my mom always let me dress myself. She let me pick my own clothes. When we would go shopping, she would let me be like, hey, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? So I grew up wearing both male and female clothes. The boys' cargo shorts were always comfy. And then I grew up and I decided that I got this let me ask you this. What is the sickest you've ever been? Like the worst feeling you've ever had?
When I was in labor for 43 hours.
Oh God, yeah. So I'm not talking like physical pain, like when you have like that sinking feeling, that hurt in your stomach, that sinking feeling in your heart. That's what it feels like to me to be when I don't feel specifically feminine. That's what it feels like to put on a skirt or a dress or heavy makeup. It's like that sinking, like you're curling in on yourself. And I started experiencing that and I was like, what the hell is this? Because I was 6 or 7 and I was like, what is this? So,
and what was your mom's response to you when you told her that?
That I had the sinking feeling itself?
Yeah.
She was like, obviously she offered the standard, oh, is your stomach hurting? Are you sick? And I was like, no, I'm not. I wasn't sick. And I was just like, I don't.
So when you told your mom, maybe you weren't so much feminine and you're kind of like thinking about that you weren't purely a girl or you're non-binary, what was her response to that?
I didn't actually start telling her that until I was 15 or 16, so like recently. And it's just kind of like, I want you to be normal. I don't want you to deal with the society. Like, she wasn't worried so much for me as the person I would turn into. She was worried about what other people would think and what society would think and how I would be treated.
When's the first time you even heard the term non-binary? What were you doing and where did you find that term?
I was in the GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance, for my high school, and I was also 16. So I went for a good 9 years without hearing it, and I was just kind of like, okay, so I like male and female. I like boys and girls.
So your high school had a Gay Straight Alliance,
yes,
and you were part of that. At what age?
16.
At 16, and
I was a junior in high school.
So you were junior high school, and then you started hearing of these terms, and you're like, oh, maybe that's something that actually fits me.
It did take a lot of consideration, actually. I first heard the singular they being used when I was 9 or 10.
From where? How did you hear about that?
It was just in general, like, conversation. Even my dad, who is he would probably be a supporter of Charlie Kirk. He used they to refer to one of his work people. And I was like, who are you talking about? Because I had to be involved in everything. I was a very nosy kid.
As kids are.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, who are you talking about? Because he said they, like I thought he was referring to multiple people. And he's like, no, I'm referring to this person. And I'm like, oh, okay. And just kind of moved on with it. And I was like, that's cool.
Okay.
Moving on.
So you preferred your pronouns to be
they and them.
They, them. Okay.
So, do you need me to explain how to use that?
Nope, because I'm not going to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that you're a they, them. Okay. I know that you're a woman and you were created as a woman and you're perfect that way. And I hope that there are some avenues and some people you can find that support you to let you know you're perfect the way that you are. And there's such a blessing in being a woman and being feminine. We have such a gift that we can have children. We create the love that's in our home, in a marriage, and with our children. There is such a blessing unique to femininity and womanhood. And that is the ability for us to bear children and raise them. We have such a gift that we have this child that we are able to nurture and then grow and shape into a wonderful person in the future. And so don't lose that. I'm not trying to change your mind or anything, but I know you've heard a lot about, they, thems, and maybe you're a they, them or non-binary, and you might want to take hormones to make your voice deeper.
I stay mostly out of the mainstream LGBTQ+.
Right.
The most thing I would like to do, maybe I'll attend a Pride Parade, that's to show support. I would like to live my life as I do. I would like to exist as myself. And I see the people who are I see the people who are furries. I see the people who use they and them. I see the people who use neo-pronouns. That's good for them. It's not me.
Right.
I just like to exist as me.
Right.
So I support them. They can have fun. As long as they're having fun as themselves, it's fine. And I'm having fun as myself.
Do you think there's anything within the transgenderism ideology or the movement that has been detrimental and you think that should be walked back? Is there any criticisms of this going on?
Within the trans community, I do not like the attack of some within our own community. There are influencers such as Blair White, Eden the Doll, Calvin Guerra, who turn on their own community to say, hey, I am this perfect passing person. I'm going to talk down on you. I don't think that's right. It's like it's the same deal. It's the same deal as if it was a fraternity or sorority. You don't talk down to the sisters or brothers in your community or in your house. You don't talk down to the other people in your community.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. What's your name?
Kat.
Kat. It's nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet
My
you.
name's Kate, so we're close there. Did you have the chance to talk to him?
I have not. No, I came here first. Yeah.
You
Came
should.
through and
So he won't be here for very long. What is something you want to bring up with him?
I don't know if we go talking because it seems pretty.
Okay. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so I looked up both of those things, and the standoff with the CIA, it was an armed man, and he was at the Virginia Land CIA office, and he surrendered a couple hours ago. That's as far as we don't know why he was there, what was going on, what prompted it or anything. As for the Pentagon, it is a little bit eyebrow raising, some of the stuff that they've removed, but the mission was to remove anything that was like DEI related. But they have kind of like gotten rid of some questionable things, in my opinion, like about Holocaust survivors. But it's like the Jackie Robinson thing.
Yeah.
They deleted it by mistake in the purge, but they've already put it back. So these people jumped on that bandwagon and said, "Oh my God, look what they did! They took this out," but they've already put it back.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
So there's a good chance that they're probably going to review these other things that they have taken.
Yeah,
out
for sure.
And put it back, because they even took out the stuff about the Navajo code talkers and stuff, and all of that was really important history.
But like you said, it's not gone.
No,
They take it out from there, and like you said, there's still places that they're going to have it.
a lot of people have it, and it's up to you, each minority group and each person, to keep those stories and keep those records and to put it at that. It's why are you letting the government have control over that too?
Exactly.
It's like if it's important to you, then you keep the stories alive. You keep the pictures and the news articles and put them on the internet. I mean, nobody's stopping you from doing that.
No,
And
not at all.
there's 1,000 other places that already have that too.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, it's just the Pentagon. I mean, so.
And it's like, I've already known that there's something bigger going down. We've had a couple big things going on. So it's like, they're hiding, the government's hiding something.
Of course.
We don't know what yet.
I mean, we might be just getting closer to disclosure,
Yeah.
And maybe all of those
'Cause
things were lies.
They just released the JFK files too.
Oh, I'll look into that next. Yeah. So yeah, little tidbits in between here,
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, to me, that if they're releasing things this big, because they won't have released the Epstein files too.
Right.
If they're releasing things this big, what is on the other side that they're hiding?
Right.
There's something big.
And that's the kind of position that I'm into. It's like, it's instead of just jumping on this was just hours ago, and jumping on this and being like, oh my God, they did this, they did that. Just adopt a wait and see, and see what happens.
Yes.
A couple weeks from now, a couple months from now, and see what's on the other side.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's what I found out about all that.
All right.
Pretty crowded, but I was curious about his opinions on gender affirming care for minors.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think that his answer would
Well,
be?
I think I know the answer, but I'm curious how it goes with his thoughts on whether gender affirming care should be applied to adults, and because I don't know his answer on that, because I know some conservatives don't like it for adults, some do, and so I wanted to see what his view on that was.
Okay. What do you think gender affirming care is?
What do I think it is, or when do I think it should be given?
No, what is it?
Gender affirming care is a wide variety of both healthcare and social behaviors, where in general, most primarily it's HRT or hormone replacement therapy. So for people who want to be more feminine, they can get estrogen, or for more masculine, more testosterone.
So we are going to have to move this way out of the road and not blocking people. So let's move this way. Yes. So you were saying gender affirming care. What is that?
It takes the form of hormone replacement therapy. For adults, it can have gender reassignment surgery or sexual reassignment surgery. And most common in minors, when it's given to minors, is puberty blockers or puberty suppressants.
Okay. And when do you think that should be given?
I think the CDC and current health associations typically recommend it for people for puberty suppressors before the onset of puberty to prevent.
What do you think?
I agree with that, yeah.
You agree with
yes.
that? Okay. Do you think there are any side effects or things that maybe we should look at to say maybe minors shouldn't be getting that before puberty?
To say things you shouldn't, maybe you should look at everything. Obviously, the entirety of effects is what should be measured. Are there side effects? I mean, all medicine has side effects, but typically what people call the side effects are, the desired effects. So yeah, there are side effects, of course. If you take estrogen, for example, you have a higher increase of blood clots because men typically have a lower chance of blood clots, but then cis women have a higher chance of blood clots, so your odds go to that of a cis woman. And so those tend to be side effects that wouldn't be desired, but it's not a dangerous side effect, I would say.
A blood clot isn't a dangerous side effect?
Well, so naturally, cis women have higher odds of blood clots than cis men. I'm not exactly sure the reason.
What is a cis woman?
It's a woman who's assigned female birth.
So just a woman?
Who is assigned female birth, yes.
Just a woman?
They are a woman, yes.
Yeah.
Cis women are women, yes.
Yeah. So one thing that, we like to hear the conservative talking heads talk about and stuff is, and I already asked someone else this here today, if we're talking about cis women, and I assume that you think trans women are also women.
Yes.
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 So that begs the question, because we're here, the famous question, what is a woman?
Yes, so a woman is someone whose gender identity aligns with the typical phenotypic traits of females or of women. And so the question, of course, is that's kind of vague. It's not exact. It's not desirable. And so you can try and do what like conservatives say is they'll do women with XX chromosomes. But that also has gray area. That also has gaps in their understanding, because people with, say, XXY Klinefelter syndrome, you're not going to say they're neither women or men. They're obviously, intersex, and there's gray area whether you call them woman or a man. It might depend on the individual person.
So that is like a very, very small percentage. And that's actually, that's actually like a defect. So that's like saying someone with 11 fingers, we wouldn't go around and say, well, there's actually nothing that says how many fingers a human has. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like an outlier and a defect. Something went wrong. So normally a woman has XX chromosomes. And yes, normally.
And normally women are cis. That is the most common attribute for a woman to have. Normally women are above 4'5" or something. But just because there are people that don't fit the norm definition doesn't mean they're not women. So I'm saying,
well, I was asking what is a woman, and you said someone who identifies with, I guess, female traits. So would you say like long hair? Like what are those female traits?
So it depends on culture, obviously, in American culture versus ancient cultures, whatnot. But yeah, in American culture, women are often defined by stuff like the color pink or stuff like long hair. And now none of these individual traits make you a woman, because if you have long hair, you can be a man. And I think,
but what does make you a woman?
If your gender identity aligns with
But what does that mean? What standards would have to be in a gender identity to say, yep, this is a woman?
Are you trying to say, is there some sort of measurable test that could be performed to determine if someone is a woman or not?
We have those, yeah.
Yes,
we do have tests that can be performed to see if someone is a woman. That's how they know if a discovered body is that of a male or a female, because we can tell. We can tell. So I don't know. When people say a cis woman or a trans woman, because I'm a woman, I know I'm a woman, and I'm just wondering, how do we know? How does someone know they're a woman? If they're confused, how do you know you're a woman?
Trans people don't tend to be confused. They tend to be pretty confident.
They are not confused?
They confuse conservatives. They aren't confused themselves. There's a difference there.
So if someone was born a female and is having an identity crisis, and then they start having surgeries or getting on hormone therapies because they're I don't think someone goes to something so drastic because they're super confident. There is a level of confusion and suffering that has to happen to a person for them to make such a drastic change in their life. So that is confusion. For someone to not recognize that they are a woman or they are a man, there has to be something going on. Someone just doesn't wake up one day and goes, well, I have a penis and now I'm a woman because I'm super confident in this decision. There's a lot of suffering, I think, and neglect that happens before. Because people are watching this person go through this and no one's stepping in to help them. And they're most of the time, just affirming this. And then it ends up harming them. And then it harms a lot of people. Do you think there's no confusion if a woman that has been a woman all their life at the age of 16, maybe 18, 20, you think they're not confused if they don't know what gender they are. It's literally a confusion. It's confusion.
So, because you mentioned if they're getting a bunch of surgeries, they're probably confused. But someone who gets chemotherapy isn't confused if they have cancer or not. They know they have cancer.
Are you relating transgenderism to cancer?
I'm relating gender dysphoria as a mental illness. Yes.
So it's a mental illness, a level of confusion that people go through to have to make this change. Although I think maybe we would agree that a lot of this is kind of like trendy. It's kind of trendy along Gen Z and millennials.
we wouldn't agree there.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with clubs that are made in high school. I just talked to somebody actually. They had a gay club in high school that she was a part of, and then no, it wasn't that. And then.
Or they said TSA.
She said the gay and lesbian alliance or something. But that was a club in high school. These are minors being put into the viewpoint of a particular ideology and agenda for what people think should be allowed and normalized in society. And then she comes out miraculously confused about her gender, which is such a harm to gender. Yes, she is, because she's not sure if she wants to be more masculine or more feminine. She was confused.
They were non-binary.
And that is confusion. How do you not know if you're one or the other?
They said they were non-binary. Yeah. They didn't see.
Unfortunately, it's not productive or helpful to a person to affirm them in this confusion that they're experiencing.
They said how they had a massive pit in their stomach when they were growing up, and then
that's a cry for help because she was confused.
And they got the help. They're happy now.
No, she didn't get help,
but
and it's wrong.
Who cares?
That's the thing. So these studies show that when you get treatment for like hormone replacement therapy, or you get like surgeries that help you identify more as the gender you want to be, it's actually a short-term euphoria that people experience, and the depression rates do not change at all. They don't change, and the suicide rates do not change as well. So we are putting these people to all of these terrible things.
Yeah, you're quoting a study from Sweden in like the early 2010s, and that study doesn't say that. A lot of outlets said it. Said that what the study states is that the depression rate or suicide rate of post-op trans people is higher than that of cis people, which, that's not shocking.
No, it followed people before and after.
Yeah.
It followed people before and after, and there was no change. What's the
study, I guess, because I think we're talking about
we're talking about the Sweden study.
One,
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Howdy. I'm good today.
Good.
Caitlin Bennett, right?
Good. Yes.
I'm Remy. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm gonna do one of these. Yeah, germs.
Yeah.
Feeling a little sick.
I've been a big fan of yours, like since a little kid. When I was in middle school.
I guess I am like 29 years old at this point.
I
I'm a little
watched your
old.
stuff since middle school.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
22. Okay.
Hate to date you at all with that. But, I've been watching a lot of your stuff, like Charlie Kirk stuff from like a very young age. I come from a very conservative household, very Christian family.
You from Florida?
Yeah.
Cool.
Native, born and raised over in Orlando, just a stone's throw away. And, I watched a lot of your guys' content, like growing up and stuff. And it led me to like work out a lot and be very involved in my church and like do a lot to try and like better myself and my community. And in some ways, I think it was helpful. But overall, I did find that there was this nagging emptiness. There was this nagging feeling of
at church,
just everything, inside of all of what I was doing. And like, I think that in a lot of ways, the bill of goods being sold to young men by the conservative movement today is not nearly as complete as it needs to be.
All right, let's talk
I think that in a lot of ways, it's a very hollow promise, and it's one that leaves a lot of men disappointed.
So what are the promises that conservatives are trying to sell young men?
In a lot of ways, I think that there's like a high prioritization of masculinity, of being very strong in a physical sense. And I don't always think that's necessary. I think that health, especially, comes in a lot of different forms for people. Now, that's not me saying that you should be 400 different pounds and like you're healthy at that point. Obviously not. Simply that, like, a guy that prefers to do yoga and like go on runs is just as much of a man as a guy who lifts 300 pounds. I also think that in some ways the overprioritization, at least I found, it's very easy to develop like body dysmorphia, I think it is, body dysmorphia as a man when you're working out a lot. Like you spend a lot of time very focused on this image of being stronger, and there's an image put forth by a lot of conservative networks and movements that prioritize that kind of masculinity. I don't think that's really healthy.
Okay. Who in particular would you say are kind of like channeling that?
Well, I mean, if you look at like Steven Crowder's like a really jacked guy. I mean, he definitely puts on that I don't want to say like facade, but more like a persona of being a very archetypal man's man. And
Okay.
I don't really think that's super healthy for a lot of men to aspire to. And I found that there was a very high prioritization of that as a form of masculinity to aspire to.
Okay.
I find that it led me to a very hollow place. And I've seen my brother, who's very much like still very conservative. I'd say I've probably lightened up just a little bit. You know, maybe that's the college, maybe that's just like living life. But I found that the stories you're told in your bedroom when you're watching videos and stuff are not nearly as accurate to reality as I'd like them to be. And I find that in a lot of ways, this kind of media, it's not been as helpful as I wish it was to me when I was at that young age.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How old were you? You said when you would have started.
Like 13, 14 when I started watching stuff. I remember thinking.
Well, real quick, I don't condone 13-year-olds being on YouTube unfiltered and having access to all kinds of media. I think media should be filtered through the parents and should be selected and watched before children watch it. I would never ask a 13-year-old to watch my content because there are things that we talk about and things that happen that might not completely understand and gets really confusing. So I don't condone that at all. I'm sorry if you've been left to feel like, things were not helpful or misleading. I would say who comes to mind when you talk about masculinity and maybe not being is Michael Knowles. He's not very, a man's man. He's super, cigars and whiskey and let's read a book and play the ukulele. And I think he is actually a great example of masculinity. One, because of his faith. I think a masculine man is really strong in his faith and knows a lot about it. And that's something that Michael he's really strong in his faith. He also talks so highly about his wife and his children, and I think that's a masculine trait too, is to have a lot of respect and love for your wife and for your children and the family that you want to create and protect. I'm a Catholic.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so
how you feel about like the church in today's society, because I personally feel like, at least for a lot of denominations, it's really been falling short as of late. I look around myself at a lot of services and I don't see a lot of people my age that are nearly as involved as I wish they were, especially like going to like a good 10:30 p.m. or 10:30 a.m. service on a nice Sunday. You eat breakfast with your family, you go to church, and I look around myself and I just see a rapidly aging audience, and I can't help but feel like maybe the church isn't quite doing enough to reach out to people, or maybe it is focusing on some of the wrong things.
So I think, number one, I agree with you that a lot of, especially Gen Z, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, church is not at the forefront what they're thinking of. We differ a little bit because I'm Catholic. The other denominations all kind of have their own things. I can't speak to what's going on in those churches, but particularly the Catholic church that I go to is thriving with young families. There's new babies, like 3 to 5 babies being born every year in my church. It's like a daycare in there when we go to mass, and it's beautiful. It's the best sound that you can ever hear in a mass. But what I would say is I wouldn't so look at the church. I would so look at the parents. It's not the church's job to try to bring children in. They should have catechized the adults. Yeah. And they should have had a better, that's a term that Catholics use.
No, I'm familiar with
Yeah. So they should have catechized the adults to have a better understanding of their faith, to embrace it and be emboldened in their faith, than to pass that on to their children. So I don't necessarily think it's a criticism of the church. And the Catholic Church has not changed for 2,000 years. So they have always been who they are and will always be, the church that Christ founded. So I don't think it's the church's problem. I think it's unfortunately through the years or generations that have not been properly catechized and then have had a lacking faith, and then it's passed on to their children, and which is such a disservice because it's the parents' job to raise a child in faith. It's not necessarily the church's job, but they can do more. Everybody can always do more to bring people to God and to Christ and stuff like that. So there's never no room for improvement.
And I mean, I'll be transparent. I'm a musician. I spend time on the road touring and stuff. And I found that it can be difficult to maintain a degree of regularity when you're doing that. I was curious as to what your experience has been, because I figure, you go around the country pretty often, spend a lot of time on the road. How do you balance that? How do you find space for your faith in that?
Yeah, so I love this question because I actually took off a few years from my work and traveling to be a mom and to focus on my children and my faith. I converted to Catholicism from atheism, actually, when I was pregnant with my first child, and so that was what was important to me. And so I took time off because within my faith is also my motherhood. It's rooted on all the same. So to be true to my motherhood and to be true to my faith faith is the same thing. And that was taking time away from filming and traveling and creating content and being solely with my children to be the best mom that I can be and give them exactly what they need. I think women should be there for their children primarily if the means is to do so. And I'm so blessed with everybody who supports my content and monetarily or even in viewership gave me the opportunity to take such a long amount of time off to be there with my children. And so that's how I do it. But also you have to prioritize that. And so if you're traveling around and, it's a mass time and you have an obligation to go to church, you go. It's up to you. You just go. And if you're traveling and, that's what it is. If you're going to get in trouble for skipping something, going to mass, what's more important? You have to decide what's more important for yourself. Church and Christ, or I don't know, playing the guitar. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
today.
it was nice talking to you. What was your name?
Remy.
Remy. It was really nice talking to you. So I love your hat. I noticed.
All right, now she's really good with everything that she does and her talking points. I mean, he brought up some stuff and she countered it really nicely.
I agree that, like you were saying, like the center of masculinity is faith.
Yes.
And having a strong conviction of your belief system, whether it's Catholic, Christian, Hindu, whatever, as long as you have that center of faith, women respect that, and it's a good quality of leadership.
It really is.
And setting aside time for prayer, even if you can't attend a church, if you set aside a time to just be and communicate with God or the gods, that takes you a long way also.
Oh, for sure. It really does.
You just have to make that
Yes, you do.
that time.
I mean, that's the most important thing. It's just like how she put it. It's like, okay, if you've got mass to go to, or if you're on the road, touring. I think he said guitar, right? He's playing.
I think so, yeah.
It's what's more important to you.
And it's good though, because if he's doing stuff like that, he's in a way kind of fulfilling his purpose as well, because music is a sacred thing as well.
It is, yes.
So by doing that, it's kind of a prayer in its own.
And go ahead.
But like, not just prayer, but praise. I think not a lot of people do prayer and they kind of do it wrong because they're usually asking for something.
Yes. You can never ask for something in true prayer.
Right. Well, prayer, it's like, okay, like in our religion, we can't pray for ourselves. We can't ask for things for ourselves. We can only pray for other people.
Yes.
And then there's praise, which is like when you just say thank you for everything that's been given to me. Thank you for the breath. Thank you for
Yes.
So there's kind of a difference there. So more people, I think, need to be showing gratitude, like living a life of gratitude in their day-to-day life. That would probably kind of lessen the burden of their heart, I think.
I agree with that. Yes.
Make sure I'm not seeing her.
And I was just thinking, it's like with that guy, what he could do too is if he likes playing his guitar a lot and he's conflicted about what he's supposed to do, well, then talk to the church and on mass, schedule to be with the church and do the guitar during mass. Playing for them.
I don't know how that works. I don't know if they do that, but I mean,
If they do, though,
he could at least do some sort of like religious songs,
Yeah.
or whatever. That would definitely help bring him closer, for sure.
and giving him a better rap too.
Yeah.
Because then the people at the church will be like, oh, what's he doing?
I think they have like receptions and stuff afterwards, but I don't know. I don't know much about the Catholic how they do things, but I do know that like the Calvary chapels and stuff absolutely did stuff like
Yes,
that.
of course.
That was awesome.
It really was.
Very cool.
Okay, Sancho said, hey, LongWalker, I just shared new clips and evidence for you on Google Drive as of now. You can do what you please with it. Let me know if you want me to share more.
Yeah, we're definitely going to compile that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to go over it, and then we'll see. We're booked this Friday, so we'll see what's going on, and hope to get to it as soon as we can. Just, if you have any more, just put it on there, and we'll go through it.
Interesting things happening out there.
Yes, there is. There's definitely very interesting things.
So thank you for that. I like that.
Yes, thank you. All right, we're going to go on to the next one now. I've got to see, I think, who did I say it was? Simp Saver or Mike. Maybe Mike versus everything, and then I think it's Simp Saver after that. Let's go. He said happy to help. Awesome family.
Notice this out here. Jesus.
Did you know that some people use the pronouns it, its to describe their identity?
Nope.
This is completely valid, and people can definitely use it, its pronouns. But the key is that we can only use it, its pronouns for people whose pronouns those actually are. Because these pronouns also have a history of being weaponized to dehumanize trans folks and other people in the LGBTQ community. But like many other queer words, including the word queer itself, the pronouns it, its have been reclaimed within the community. And many people truly feel seen and validated from it, its pronouns.
That is the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Jesus Christ.
Now, as I was listening to that young lady we just heard from in the first clip, I remembered that there is one member of the LPD, damn it.
LGBTQ2+.
Isn't that exactly what I just said? Whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, I can think of one member of that community that likes to refer to others using it, its pronouns.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a very quick and very crazy Clown World update for you guys today. And as usual, we have, well, very little time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. Now, I'm not quite for sure exactly where this photo was taken, but I am assuming that this individual, who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman, is a real teacher, that is a real classroom, and it is usually filled with real students. So here's another friendly reminder that many of these public schools around the country have become nothing more than indoctrination centers for the woke mind virus, and you may want to consider homeschooling your children.
He looks like a fucking loser.
All right, we're going to keep it moving with Elijah Schaefer's slightly rotund doppelganger responding to a comment that someone left on one of his previous TikToks. The comment says, "Now you have a problem with our president deporting illegal immigrants who are all gang members. Come on, dude, you have got to get your life together." His response, roll it.
I am terrified of Donald Trump. As a veteran, as a son, as an uncle, as a friend, as a neighbor, as an American, I am imploring you as a Trump supporter to help, to please call your Republican congressmen and women and ask them to impeach and remove Donald Trump immediately.
No, man. Shit, no, man.
And next up, we have this lovely lady spewing the same old tired liberal talking points about MAGA being racist and misogynist and blah, blah, blah. Roll it.
MAGA, the only reason you voted for Trump is because you're a racist and you're a misogynist. You hate women and you hate people of color because the Republicans are bitching about recruiting numbers, but they refuse. Now Trump has ordered to stop recruiting black people. Do you know how sick you have to be in your heart and your head to think like that?
What did you say?
MAGA, the only reason you voted for Trump is because you're a racist.
I'm not racist. Every Martin Luther King Day, I order a cup of dark roast.
So this young lady is slightly more unhinged than the one we just heard from, and apparently now they are embracing their severe TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome. Roll it.
I hate Donald Trump. I hate Elon Musk. I despise J.D. Vance. What a disgusting, despicable human being. His poor wife, as dumb as she is to stay with him. Listen, I denounce racism. I denounce ableism. I denounce homophobia. I denounce transphobia. I denounce Yahtzees. I denounce Black erasure. I denounce Indigenous hate. I denounce misogyny. F the patriarchy. Okay? So when you tell me I have TDS, thank you. I'm happy to. Here's the definition in case anybody doesn't know. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's like when y'all tell a clearly cis person, oh, you look trans. Oh, you must be gay. Like, what did Lady Gaga say? What about it? There's nothing wrong with it. I know where I stand. Your opinion on what's irrational or not doesn't matter to me. You're living a life of being completely irrational. You vote for something against your own interest. I don't know how much more irrational it can get. But if your views align with mine, follow me. I'll follow you back. I'll comment. I'll engage with your shit. If you're a MAGA,
Well, damn it. According to her, I am a racist, a bigot.
I know.
You know? Oh, well.
And she uses it's like well, that's like calling an obviously cis person, trans or gay or whatever. And it's like I've been called much, much worse, and you just move on with your life. People are assholes. Some of them are good ones. You just it is what it is. And yeah, that was Buffalo Bill from the Silence of the Lambs.
And they said, like I said, I am not really a Trump supporter, but I think he is the lesser of the two evils. But when I listen to anti-Trump people to hear their perspectives, they never say good reason. No, they don't. That's from they never have reasons.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I've never really liked Trump per se, but yeah, pretty much that lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, he said it's the patriarchy's fault. We have holidays and shows that are genocentric, like anti-male, so I can say blame the devil.
Yeah. Legit.
Yep.
I there's a couple of things that just turn me off of any conversation with anybody. It's like if they bring up the word patriarchy.
Yes.
And I can't remember what the other one is, but yeah, the main one is the patriarchy. And it's like, oh, you've got nothing to say after this point. Now I'm done with you.
Well, and it's like most of them are also the whole pro-choice people.
Right.
And it's absolutely ridiculous because the pro-choice people are the most non-pro-choice.
Yeah, you can choose, but none of those choices have anything to do with keeping the child. And
No.
It's like, are you sure? I mean, it automatically goes to
abortion.
Yeah, or sometimes adoption, but never really keeping the child or
No.
working it through. If you choose to do that, then you're weaker, you're lesser.
And if you try to say, okay, well, if you do not want a kid, then maybe not do the act that gives you a kid. Maybe stay away from that because you are not ready, because that is part of the whole thing of having a kid.
Well, then they bring up the 1% of people who have had it forced upon them, rape, incest, whatever.
Yeah.
So they freak out over that, saying, the 1% of that. But then, on the flip side, you only have 1% of the trans people out there, but we're bending over backwards for that, So
I know.
It's like, yeah.
Well, because the problem is with the trans community right now, it is by far more than 1%.
It has to be. It's because it's not true trans.
No, it's not. It's all the, how do you call it? The mind.
Trend. It's trend.
Yeah, or the trends and how they get in your head. And they
Mind
tell,
virus.
yeah, the mind virus. They tell younger people, hey, if you want to be hip, hey, you want to be cool, you want to be here, then listen, you have to hate this.
Right.
Because it's going to do this to you. It's going to do all of that. It's like...
Because there is no way in hell, with as few people as we know, that we can name, 4 trans people that we know.
Yeah.
Because there's the one from your mother's side. There's 2 with your stepbrother.
Yeah, my
Not stepbrother, half-brother.
My half-brother and his daughter is trans.
Right. And we knew the one that lived out here, Rose, who was trans before it was even a thing, So we know 4 of them, and we don't know that many people.
No, and it's like, it's supposed to be the 1%.
Yeah.
Literally 4 people out of what we know.
Right.
That's not.
No, like we know like 8 people. That's like 50% of the people that we know that
Yes.
are identifying as trans. You know, it's like it's. I mean, we know a few more than that.
Yeah.
It's like, what are the odds, especially being in the family?
Exactly.
You know, no way.
And I mean, in one
No
family,
way.
there was 2 of them:
No
the
way.
father
Absolutely not.
and the son or daughter.
I don't know, honestly. I don't even know how it started, but
Yeah.
I just know that it was transgender. And I will bet you anything that the other child is going to be trans soon too. And the wife is hyper freaking masculine. Like she might as well be trans because
Yeah.
she was really already hyper masculine. So it's like, no way is that true.
No,
just
it's
social-
not.
social contagion.
It is. It's by far that.
I even
And
wrote-
what's the coolest thing to do?
Right. I wrote that down. I wrote it out on a comment, I think, on Ties, and asking like, well, here's the problem, because it was about this other family that had that. It
Yes.
was like a son and it was a mother and son that is now father and daughter. And so I was like, okay, so here's my problem. It's like, what are the odds? And I had one comment back said it just has to be social contagion because the odds are astronomically not in their favor.
Yeah, and then that would be the second one
Yeah.
of 2 people within the same family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I know of one more. I just can't remember what program I saw it on.
Yeah.
And we were watching that thing the other day on Netflix, and it had about a bunch of true intersex people, like real intersex people.
Yeah, that was really good. That was
really informative.
It was an Australian thing. I think was it on Netflix or was
I
it?
think it was Netflix.
And it was questions. Like they have to go
It says
over
you can't ask
questions.
that. It's called You Can't
Yeah,
Ask
you can't ask that. That's the name of it. It's really good, and has a lot of good questions, a lot of good answers. It's just uncandid. It's people answering stuff that.
Right. And there was like one that identified as trans, but
Was different. It said it was
Yeah.
still not the same as what
the rest of
they
them-
did not go with the LGBTQ community.
Right. And the rest of them were like legitimately intersex. They either had extra chromosomes. A lot of them were raised to be boys until the age of 13. Then all of a sudden they got breasts, and then all of a sudden what are you supposed to do with that? So
Yeah.
so I mean they were like real, and it was their real honest opinions of it, and it is nothing
No.
like the LGBT community has made it out to be here in the West.
No, it's not at all.
It's nothing like that. They're shy, and they're like quiet about it. They're not like celebrating themselves and saying that everybody has to accept them and everybody has to bend over backwards for them.
Exactly.
There was a modesty to it,
I know.
And yeah, so I just when I see that put up against the people that we know and that we deal with that are like having pride in it, it's
Yeah.
no way is it real.
I agree.
You know? Shit.
He said, "Hey, it's the Long Walker show. Are you kidding me? I love that show. That's my favorite show."
Mine too.
Yep. All right, let's get on. So hopefully we can at least get.
This isn't a safe place for you.
What the hell did you just say?
Listen, I denounce racism. I denounce ableism. I denounce homophobia. I denounce transphobia. I denounce Yahtzees. I denounce black erasure. I denounce indigenous hate. I denounce misogyny. F the patriarchy. Okay?
Oh, don't give me that liberal bullshit.
And next up, we have this individual who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman, ranting about Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton because Paxton says, whatever you were born as is what should be displayed on all legal documents. Sounds logical to me. Roll it.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is now trying to illegally revert gender marker changes on trans people's legal documents, including mine. Paxton issued this order to the Texas Department of Public Safety today, telling them to ignore legal court orders that we use to change our gender markers on our legal documentation. Let me be clear. It is not legal for Paxton to do this. He is not a judge. He cannot override court orders. But we know that the Texas judiciary is not going to do anything about it on their own, as we saw last August when Paxton issued a similar order telling the DPS to stop processing new court orders for gender marker changes on legal documentation. I don't know what logistical process they intend to use to carry this out, but I do know that when we don't have to out ourselves to every clerk, bouncer, landlord, potential employer, or cop that we run into, it significantly reduces our chance of harm and/or discrimination. And that's the point. Ken Paxton is only doing this to allow for harm and discrimination against trans people. My ID having an F on it causes no harm to anyone. I'm not pretending to be someone else. I'm not pretending to be a different age that I am. You don't need to know what's in my pants to give me a ticket, rent an apartment to me, or sell me a bottle of wine.
Come again.
I'm not pretending to be someone else.
Surely you can't be serious.
And next up, we have this young lady, I think, who probably should have turned the volume down on her TV before she filmed this TikTok. But I do have to say, I admire her confidence. Roll it.
I'm tired of people acting like y'all aren't attracted to me. Like, look, I look okay. Like, I'm not ugly. I'm not disgusting. I'm not the most ugly little being in the whole world, okay? I have beautiful skin. I got long, luxurious hair. I just got a little bit of lump you can grab. There ain't no wrong with that. Y'all acting like, oh my God, I'm the fattest bitch out there, and I'm really not. Oh my God, I'm the ugliest person out there. I'm really not. I'm beautiful. And beauty is subjective, yes. So if you don't like me, that's fine. I don't care. I don't wake up every day to impress you. But don't say I'm ugly when I'm not. Like, swear. Swear. You're blind. Bye now.
I am the bearded lady, but are you one of the freaks?
So these people, like this individual on the screen, have stopped calling themselves trans women, and now they're claiming to be just women. Roll it.
I don't give a shit what a Yahtzee says. I am and will always be a woman.
What the f are you talking about, man?
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. I wonder what this fella's neighbors think. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by Troy Millay. Now, Troy didn't sponsor today's video using the PayPal link, which is how it's usually done. However, he did leave a very generous super thanks on the last video. So, Troy, you get today's video sponsor spot, and I just want to say thank you so
This is the same guy from last week. I can tell because I can tell by the body shape. Different wig, different dress, same damn body style. He's still not dressing right for his body type. He's just like
won't do it.
Got tiny stick legs, and this it's not the right kind of dress, baby. You gotta, if you're gonna wear a dress, at least make it look good for your body type.
Yes.
Like they need the kind of that flares from the hip and kind of goes down past the knee, so it doesn't make it look so weird. Because like wide shoulders.
I know.
You know, like, dude, come on. I mean, you very much look like a man in a dress. You're not even trying.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't look good. All right, so that's just my PSA because I talked about this last week. Guy's not listening.
so much, sir. I really, really appreciate the support. And I want to give a big shout out to today's honorable mentions, Edward Turner and Broken Faye, for each leaving a super thanks on the last video. So Edward and Broken Faye, thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. So once again, today's video sponsor is Troy Millay, with the honorable mentions going to Edward Turner and Broken Faye. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. And I think we've all seen enough of this fella for one day. Get this off the screen, please. Oof.
You're fucking weird.
Now, this next clip is probably going to be one of the craziest things you're going to hear today. So this young lady thinks that if your daughter doesn't want to play against biological men in sports, You should just take her out of sports and get her piano lessons. Roll it.
If your daughter doesn't want to compete against trans women in sports, maybe your daughter just shouldn't play sports. Ever thought about that? Maybe she just like doesn't have that competitive spirit. Maybe she's just mediocre. Maybe she's not that good, because you know what? There are cis women that beat out the boys every single freaking day. So if your daughter is making all of these excuses because she thinks that a trans woman has biological advantages over her, which is probably brainwashing that you caused, if she's complaining about the biological advantages that trans women have, she's going to complain about the biological advantages that cis women have, okay? What if there's a cis girl on her team that's 6 feet tall? Is she going to complain? What if there's a cis girl on her team that has extra large feet and so has great balance? Is she going to complain? What if there's a cis girl who has extra long arms? Is she going to complain? She's going to complain about every damn thing, okay? So maybe it's time to hang it up, okay? Accept the mediocrity and go on to play piano or something like that, okay?
Are you fucking dumb?
So The View has been pumping out some fantastic clips lately, so we'll be wrapping it up with a couple from them, starting with this one where Senator Chuck Schumer was a guest recently, and listen to him mock American citizens who complain about the government stealing our money. Excuse me, taxing us. Roll it.
And you know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, my the land and water that I own, or my employees? They hate government. Government's a barrier to people, a barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
Okay.
This guy's a serious asshole.
All right, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip of Whoopi Goldberg saying that because President Trump is deporting criminally illegal aliens, many of whom are gang members, that you better watch out because you could be deported next. Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time, love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
And you just got to keep your eyes open, y'all. Because if they can just come up and take somebody because they've made a decision that you're supposed to be that person, any one of us could find ourselves being deported to some country.
Don't give them
never
any
been
ideas,
there.
girl.
Well, listen, you know, it is very clear to me that if we don't continue to say, listen, I understand you want to clean out all the bad stuff. I get it. But why do you now have access to my personal information? I get what the things you're trying to do. I don't understand why you're taking my stuff, not my personally, but each and every one of you.
And your constitutional
and
rights
your
of free
constitutional rights of free speech, which, you know, everybody says, you know, you never let us say anything. We're, you know, conservatives. And in fact, you're doing the same thing you are accusing everyone else of doing. And you're doing it in a way we've never seen before, because very few people have kept you from speaking out. But this is where we are now. Well, we're right here now. And you see, I beat the music. I beat the music. We'll be right back.
What did you say? What the did you just say?
Any one of us could find ourselves being deported.
You're an idiot.
2, 10, 12, 15. Oops, stepping on it's black. Anyway.
Are you like a snow bunny? Oh, you're a black cat.
I am a black cat. Yeah.
But are you a snow bunny as well?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end it here in a second.
Anything else from Cedric?
Nothing.
All right.
Just that. You know, we had a good show. I think we started a little later than we wanted to, so we didn't get all the clips in. But we'll be back on Friday, and are we gonna do Thursday this week, or do you wanna?
We may do a theological Thursday. We'll see. That'll be tomorrow, so we'll see how we're feeling. If it's like rolling good, we'll go ahead and do a theological Thursday. So because we found a new
street preacher.
Yeah, is he a street preacher?
Yeah. I mean, he's gone out to a couple different places. I found him through my other guy Nicholas. He was on there, and he's only got 66 subscribers.
67.
Yeah, 67 now because and I've talked to him too and stuff. So
yeah, he said we can use his stuff. He's very mellow. He's got the same kind of vibe, family oriented. Talks a lot about the abundance of a life lived with God. You know,
yes.
How you just feel so fulfilled. You feel like you have like ultimate wealth when you're like right with God and everything. So I like that aspect.
And we've also got another one too. We've got the other guy that we found, but we haven't found too much with his yet, so we'll see.
And then you also want to review the false monastic, right?
Yeah, the false monk. I've got some bones to pick there too. So
yeah, we want to start getting in on his live streams and everything. He's like he's a con artist, and he's disguised as a Buddhist monk.
And he's gonna start making everything look really bad. So
he claims to be of the highest order where you can't ask for money, but I have literal clips where he's asking for money to be donated to his link tree.
Yeah, he asks a lot for money.
For his robes and stuff, and for his travels. He's totally fully funded by people donating to his travels.
And then also he's always buying stuff.
Yeah, he has a very serious like shopping issue, and so I'll bring up some of the Reddits and stuff we found because he's made his rounds. He's in the past impersonated a police officer, a security guard, and even like the court judge.
This is one of his longest, though, I think, because he's still going. I don't know how he's still going.
Well, because I think he's falling back on that. Yeah, I've done some things in the past, but now I've converted to it, and which is like, yeah, the road is rocky for all of us. A lot of us have come from like criminal past and stuff, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But he's still doing it, and you can tell he's doing it. There's a certain light that comes with Buddhism, like Buddhist monks,
yeah, for sure.
And they smile a lot. And he's just really shifty. He still looks like a shifty little con artist.
Yeah.
And we have some information regarding some of his students, and we think that there might be some shady stuff going on there.
Yeah, and I'll be unraveling him. I mean, it's gonna take me a lot longer than I want with him himself because he's very sneaky with what he does.
Yeah, so you have to kind of like, because he's really quick to block people and even slap lawsuits on people for defamation and everything.
For false characters. So I want to make sure that we get him and we get it stopped.
Yeah.
Not just, him blocking me and he goes on to do it more.
Right.
So we're gonna be working on that for a while.
You guys can be part of a little covert operation.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Sancho, as always. And
yes, thank you, Sancho.
We'll review your videos, and we'll either do a live stream or we'll do a video because I'm still trying to work on doing more videos.
Yeah, we're working on trying to get more videos out there, and not just the live streams, but real videos. So hopefully we will be getting on top of that.
It's just hard. We have a life here. So.
And it's going to be summertime, which gets very busy here. And like I said, we now have a car that we're very grateful for.
Makes things a little bit easier.
Yeah, we get to get out and get some stuff done instead of me being gone all day because I'm walking to town. So, I mean, it won't stop my walking. I still do a lot of that, but...
But it does help that way.
Yeah, it helps.
Happens, we can go to town and get what we need.
Exactly. Sundays we're still never using it.
Yeah, we won't
unless of emergency.
Yeah. And it's like if somebody needs something from us now, we have the ability to help them out.
Exactly. We can give back a lot more. So,
alrighty.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, Sancho. See you guys later.
Good job.
Do this first.
What did you hate
it? No.
This female professional boxer was talking for years. She claimed that she can knock out most male fighters, including world champions.
They always say, "Oh, women can't beat a man." I spar with men, and I mean, I drive.
out.